A society without democracy is a society of slaves and fools. My dear students, we are living in a world where there is something that need to have talk about power thirst situation. We can see some relevance in the present socio-political scenario where we too have many ministers, leaders and bureaucrats who are power thirst and are very ready to go any extent. In the lesson, The Kingdom of Fools, written by A.K. Ramanujan, he is giving out a caution that we should be very careful when we come into contact with foolish people because they are unpredictable and can be dangerous. A.K. Ramanujan, Attapet Krishnaswamy Ramanujan, he was born in the year 1929 on March 16 and died in the year 1993 on July 30. He was an Indian poet and a scholar of Indian literature. He wrote both in English and Kannada. And also he was considered to be a translator, a playwright, philologist, folklorist, a scholar, and a professor too, apart from being a poet. His academic research ranked across 5 languages: English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Sanskrit. And what we see in this Kingdom of Fools, as I told you earlier, it just focuses on a kingdom of fools where the kings and ministers are behaving absurd. And it is a Kannada folktale which is taken from folktales of India. The writer's intention is to bring humor and wit. Here, in this lesson, the kingdom is just doing the opposite things what we see in other countries. They consider day as night and night as day. By the arrival of a lone man and his disciple, they understood that it's not safe to stay where fools rule. But the disciple determined to stay back as everything there is cheap for 1 doodoo. That is 1 rupee. Okay? So, it is believed that fools are so dangerous that only wise people can manage them. As we go through the lesson, we can see who the fools in this story are and what happens to them. Okay? So here, the story just talks about a kingdom ruled by a foolish king. All the king as well as all the ministers are idiots. So they wanted to have or change the rules of the country unlike other countries. So they decided to consider day as night and night as day, which means they ordered all the people to sleep during the daytime and work during the night. If anyone was against this idea or this new rule, definitely they'll be taken for given punishment. So the people were forced to do the business and farming at night time. As soon as the sun rises, they all need to go to bed. Okay? So all the subjects worried about their life and they don't have the courage to question the orders given by the king. So they accepted it wholeheartedly. So the king and the ministers were very much happy. So one day what happened in this kingdom on a broad daylight, when all the subjects, the king, everyone was sleeping because that was the rule, no? So what happened one day, a guru and his disciple arrived in this country. And they were very much amazed to see that there was no one anywhere in any of the places. The place is so beautiful to see. And they couldn't even hear a single voice anywhere. Even the cattle were also taught to sleep during this daytime. For them, for this kingdom, the people who lives in this kingdom, day is night. Okay? So everyone was sleeping. Even the cattle were also taught to sleep at night. At night means during the daytime. Okay? So this guru and his disciple waited and they were just wandering throughout the place till evening. As soon as the sun set, the city became so active and started the nightly business or just like the day business. And the guru and his disciple were wondered at this logic. What is this? They were starving very much. They wanted food, water. So they went to one shop. Okay? So when they went there, it was another surprise that was waiting for them is if they have 1 doodoo in hand. 1 doodoo means 1 rupee. They can get anything. They can buy any food. Okay? So, here we say that whether it be a banana, 1 kg of rice, it costs only 1 rupee. So the guru as well as the disciple was so delighted as everything is cheap here. And as they took the food, they cooked the food, as they have taken the food, Guru thought that it is not fine enough or it is awkward to continue to live here. So soon he told his disciple, let's leave the place immediately because this is the kingdom of fools. Because they consider day as night, night as day. They are doing all the business, all the farming, everything at night time, and everything is cheap here. At any moment of time, they can change the room. So it's not safe here. Let's go from this place. But the disciple who was greedy of food or who loved food very much, he thought that I can get food at a cheaper price. So he said that, no, I am not going to leave this place. Guru again predicted that it is not safe to live here. At any moment of time, they can change their rules and regulations, their attitude, their actions, everything is unpredictable and they are dangerous too. But this disciple was not ready to listen to the word of the Guru. Okay? He decided to continue living in this place because everything is cheap here. So Guru finally left the place. So what happened? This disciple stayed here and he started eating a lot of food every day. After some day, what happened? He became like a fat, big bull. And as it was just going like this, one day a burglar entered into a rich man's house. Actually, this burglar made a hole in the wall and he got inside to rob things. Okay, after looting everything that he could take from the house, while he was coming back, the wall had broken. It fallen on his head and he died on the spot. When he died, his brother, the brother of the burglar, immediately made a complaint to the king that his brother died while he was doing his traditional job. What is a traditional job? It's burglar or just robbing. And he said that the death of my brother is because of the wall that had fallen on him. And who is responsible? The merchant or the rich man is responsible for the death of my brother as he was doing his traditional job. So what you have to do? You have to make the merchant give compensation for my brother's death. So immediately the king thought that yes, what the brother said was correct. A man died. Okay? He died while he was stealing the things from the rich man's house. And what happened? So the rich man is responsible for the death of this man. Immediately the king called the rich man to the court. Okay? The rich man came there and he said that, King, please listen to me. It's not my mistake. It's not my mistake that the wall killed the burglar. And he said that it was the mistake of the mason or the bricklayer who made the wall. He made the wall in a weak manner. That's why it just happened. Yes, the king thought that was right. It was not the mistake of the merchant. It was the mistake of the bricklayer who made the wall. Immediately, the bricklayer was called to the court. By the time, it was long time back. So the bricklayer now became an old man. He came to the court and he said that, yes, Your Honor, what you said was correct. I made the wall, but it was during the time of the merchant's father. And he said that, I remember why I made a weak wall. What is the reason? As I was just making the wall, here it says that, as I was just making the wall, a lady just walked up and down. A dancing girl just walked up and down the street, so I could not concentrate on the work properly. The king immediately said, yes, what you said was correct. Maybe you are distracted by the dancing lady. So, it was not my mistake. It was the mistake of the dancing girl who distracted me from making a good wall. So, the king said, yes, that is also correct. It was not the mistake of the bricklayer. So, immediately called the dancing girl. The dancing girl now was called to the court. Okay? By the time she is also old now. It's long time back. So, she was taken to the court. She is also so old that she walks trampling. The king questioned the old dancing girl. She agreed whatever happened. The king understood that she is a real culprit behind the death of the innocent burglar. Then this lady said, please listen to me before just punishing me. And says that you need to know why I was just walking up and down. That distracted the bricklayer. Actually, it was not my mistake. It was the mistake of the goldsmith who made me walk up and down. I had given some ornaments or gold to make some jewelry. But that man made delay in making my ornaments and he told me to come after some time. So that made me walk up and down a dozen times in front of this bricklayer who was making the wall here. So I am not responsible. So the goldsmith is responsible for making me walk up and down. That distracted the bricklayer. The bricklayer made a weak wall and that killed the burglar who entered the house of the merchant. So it was the fault of the goldsmith. Who is the culprit here? It's not the bricklayer. It's not the dancing girl. Now it's the goldsmith. So immediately go and call or bring the goldsmith here. Or the king's men wanted all around. They went looking for the man and finally they brought the goldsmith to the court. The king ordered his men to question. So they started asking questions. Now the goldsmith said, yes, what the king said was correct. I had to complete the jewelry of the merchant immediately. That's why I made the ornaments of the dancing girl a bit delayed. Actually, it was the goldsmith who gave justification like it was the mistake of the merchant who gave a lot of gold because there was a wedding that was going on in their house. They needed the jewelry immediately. So I just kept aside the jewelry of the dancing girl and I was in a very busy to make ornaments for the merchant. So who is responsible? I am not responsible. The merchant was responsible for delaying the jewelry of the dancing girl. Okay. Now the king understood that, yes, what the goldsmith said was correct. The merchant is back. Okay. The goldsmith said the name of the rich person and he was none other than the merchant whose wall had fallen on the burglar. The king was very much happy that finally it came upon the right man. And the king thought that justice is done. So the merchant was again called to the court. When the merchant came to know about the incident, he cried and he said that no, it was not me who gave these gold ornaments to make jewelry to the goldsmith. It was my father who gave ornaments to make jewelry. And he is dead now. So he says that I am innocent. It was my father who gave the ornaments and made the goldsmith to make the jewelry. So please consider me as an innocent person. But the king said no. After hearing what all things said by the merchant, he had a talk with the minister and the final verdict was made by the king. Okay, I agree. It was the fault of your father who is the real criminal behind the murder. Since he is dead, someone should be punished. As you inherit everything that possesses the money and the sin, so you should die. The king said this to the merchant. And immediately he ordered his men to make a stake also for executing the punishment. Okay, as per the order, the servants or the men went and made a stake. Once the stake was ready, minister went to have a look at the stake. When the minister went, he could see that, oh, it was not possible for this merchant to be executed on the stake. Because what is the reason? The king is worried and the minister said that the merchant is too thin to be executed on the stake. So what happened? The king ordered, okay, go and find a fat man who fit the stake now. Finally, we see that the servants went into different corners of the kingdom to find a fat man to be executed on the stake. And as they were just moving and searching for a fat man, they came to the sight of the disciple of the Guru who was fat like a big bull. Okay? So the disciple by the time becomes so fat by eating a lot of bananas and rice and ghee. Okay. And this servants caught him to the court. And this disciple started crying for his life. He pleaded that he is a sannyasi and he had done nothing wrong. But the servant said that we are helpless. We need to follow the order given by the king. And the disciple was taken to the stake because he fit the stake now and he was correct fit for the stake. And standing there, he remembered and regretted the words of his guru. What was the words of his guru? This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. So while he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru. Okay. And he prayed that please hear my prayer and come to save me from death. Now talking about the guru was a person who have magical powers, who could foresee things. Okay, in his vision, he had seen the trouble of his disciple. Immediately, he arrived to the kingdom to save the disciple who had fallen into a trouble. And now, once the guru came here, he immediately went to see the disciple and he scolded him for not obeying his words. Then secretly, the guru and this disciple discussed something. Then the guru said, I wanted to see the king. He went to meet the king. He addressed the king as wise. He said, "Oh wise king, I wanted to ask you a question. Please give me answer for my question." Now, when the guru just called, "Oh wise king," the king was very happy. Okay, he said, "Okay, you can ask me a question." Immediately the guru asked, "Who is the greatest, the guru or the disciple?" The king said, "Of course, it is the guru." The guru immediately pleaded to put him first to the stake before my disciple. He said, "Please, as you said, as guru is more important than the disciple, then please put me to stake first." Okay? And now, hearing this, the disciple understood the trick or the idea behind the disciple's plea for executing him first into the stake. Immediately the disciple also said, No. Please put me first to death before my guru." Then guru said, "No, I am the guru. You have to put me to death first. Then only you have to put my disciple to death." Here we see that the disciple as well as the guru goes on just fighting each other to get onto the stake first. So the king who was listening to the fight between the guru and the disciple, he became so irritated and he was confused. He said, Stop. Okay, let me ask you one thing." The king asked the guru, "Tell me why you wanted to get into the stake first." "Actually, we just took this disciple because he is fat enough, he is fit for the stake. But we don't understand why this guru was stubborn enough to get into the stake first." Then guru said, "Okay, I'll tell you. Okay? But before that, you have to make a promise. If I say the secret, you have to accept my demand of taking me first to the stake." Okay? Yes, the king agreed. "Okay, I will take you to the stake first. Give me the secret behind it." Okay, now the guru said the reason. Says that I myself and my disciple were roaming all around the whole world. And we are very fortunate to be here in your kingdom. It is such a nice place. And now we see a new stake here. And we consider this stake as the God of justice. Since no criminals just spoiled the stake with their blood, we wanted our life to take first into this stake. And we believe that whoever dies in this stake first will reborn as the future king of the country. And whoever dies second in this stake will reborn as the future minister of this country. So we are fed up with our ascetic life or the life as sannyasi. We wanted to reborn as the king and minister. So please, the guru said, please take me to the stake first so that I can reborn as the future king of this country. Please fulfill my dreams. And immediately the disciple also said, please take me to the stake. I also wanted to be a king or a minister. So please execute my death first here. Now the king was just thinking, yes, there is something that is to be considered. Because this was said by whom? Guru. He blindly believed the words of the Guru. Guru will not tell lie. So whatever he said will be correct. It's the truth. So he just postponed the execution. He said, okay, the execution is postponed. We'll just inform you later. And immediately the king went to have a talk with the minister. Okay. He had a secret meeting with the minister and they proposed one thing. So far we were ruling this kingdom. And in the next life also, we wanted to be the king and the minister. Whatever Guru said was correct. He will not say lie. So, if the Guru dies in this stake first, he will reborn as the future king of our country. And if the disciple dies in the stake second, he will reborn as the future minister of this country. So, we will lose our position in the next generation or the next rebirth. So, let's go and make our life get first onto the stake. So, they decided likewise and they gave order to the executioners. What is that? Special order was given to the servants in the stake, telling that tonight we will send the criminals. When the first person comes, put him to death first. And when the second person comes, put him to death second. Okay? The king ordered them not to do any mistake regarding the orders. And what happened? At night, the king and the minister released the Guru and the disciple from the jail. And instead of the Guru and the disciple, the king and the minister disguised as the Guru and minister. Secretly, as planned earlier, the king went first to the stake. He was executed. Secondly, the minister also went to the stake and was executed. The servants who are very loyal to the king and the orders, they executed as the orders given by the king. Actually, we see that the dead bodies, when they were taken to be thrown for the vultures and crows, all the people in that kingdom was panicked. They were frightened. They were terrorized because they could see the dead bodies of the king and the minister there. They were confused. Actually, what happened? They started discussing about the future of the country. Oh, our king and minister is here. What is going to happen to the future of our country? By the time one of the subject just remembered about the Guru and the disciple. Someone thought about the Guru and the disciple. Okay? And by the time this Guru and disciple was getting ready to leave the country. So these people ran towards this Guru and disciple. They pleaded, please be our king. Please be our minister. We don't have a king and a minister here. Please be our minister and king. And disciple was very happy to be their king or minister. But you see that the Guru was not ready. He said, okay, I'll agree on some condition. Okay? Hereafter, we would change the law of the country. Night will be considered as night for sleeping and day will be considered as day for working. The other thing is that hereafter, nothing will be available for one to do. That is, for 1 rupees, you will not get anything in the country. And the rules and the regulations of the country will be like any other country. Okay, so after the death of the king and the minister, this particular country got a new king and a minister. The king was the Guru and the minister was the disciple. They started ruling the country like any other country, making all the amendments which was made against by the king and the minister. Now the king and the minister is dead. We have got the Guru as the new king, the disciple as the new minister. Everything was perfect and all the affairs of the country went in such a bright manner. Actually, we see that throughout the lesson, this A.K. Ramanujan was giving a satire about the present condition of the socio-political scenario. Because the leaders, the ministers, the bureaucrats, they were all power thirst and they were ready to go to any extent. But being wise people, we should be very ready to deal with such people in the wisest manner. Okay? So, I hope you understood the lesson, the kingdom of fools. Hereafter, the kingdom of fools is no longer the kingdom of fools, but it's a normal kingdom where everything went in a perfect manner. Okay? Thank you all. Have a great day.